So hello friends, welcome back to our channel Adami Education. As promised yesterday, today we are going to start with heights and distances, and we are going to learn how to solve questions. We are going to learn how to solve questions related to finding the height of a tower, or finding the elevation of a bird above the sea level, finding the elevation of the peak of a mountain above the sea level. These type of questions we are going to solve in this topic. So let's begin. First of all, let us try to understand what is heights and distances, or what is the basic concept behind it. Whenever we are talking about trigonometry, we know that we have to consider a right angle triangle always. So whenever we have a structure in the form of a right angle triangle, out there we can use trigonometrical ratios to find the answer. We can find the height of a tower, we can find the height of a building, we can also find the distance of a person from the tower, etc. So in this chapter we are going to do such type of operations. So before starting with it, let us know a few basic terminologies in this chapter. First of all, we will have line of sight, then we have the angle of elevation, and then we have the angle of depression. So let's see what are those. First of all, let us consider that this is a cliff or a tower AB. A person is standing at point C from the base of the tower, or from the foot of the tower. Foot of the tower means the portion of the tower which is attached to the ground. Alright. Until and unless the height of the person will be given, we have to consider the person to be a point object. So as you can see out here in my figure, point C is the person. I am not considering a person as such. We will not do this. We will consider the person to be a point object. Now, if the person raises his eye, he will be able to see the top of a tower. He has to raise his eye, or he has to raise his head, making a particular angle. That angle can be denoted by theta, and that angle will be known as the angle of elevation. The word elevation means top or above. So angle of elevation is the angle through which the person viewing the tower, viewing the top of a tower or the top of a building, will raise his eye or his head in order to see the point, in order to see the top of the tower or the top of a cliff. So that is called the angle of elevation. So out here we will consider this is the eye of the person. Point C is the eye of the person, or point C is the place where the person is standing. So the angle of elevation will be theta. Now this particular line along which he is able to see, the line AC, which is also the hypotenuse of the right angle triangle ABC, this line is known as the line of sight. Why is it called the line of sight? Because along this particular line he is viewing the point A. As a result, this particular line, this hypotenuse region, is known as the line of sight. Now if you want to consider the angle of depression, basically there is nothing as such called the angle of depression. It is just another way of representing the angle of elevation. Now just imagine, from C one person is looking up. Now from A another person will be looking down towards C. He also has to tilt his head in such a way that the angle made will be equal to theta, because as you can see, let me just rub it a little bit so that it becomes clear for you. Alright, now we have a person at point A and he wants to view a person who is standing at point C. So he will not tilt his head upwards, isn't it? He will tilt his head or his eyes downward. The angle through which he has to tilt his eyes downwards in order to see the point C now, A is seeing C now, that angle will be equal to theta. Why? We have studied in the chapter parallel lines and transversal that if there are two parallel lines as such, and if there is a transversal, this angle and this angle will be equal. Alternate interior angles, Z formation is occurring. In the figure which I have made, we can see that there is a Z formation, isn't it? See, we have a Z formation. So as a result, theta is this angle, also this angle is theta. So this angle theta is the angle of depression for the point A. If a person is standing at point A, for him the angle of depression will be theta. How can you remember which is the angle of elevation and angle of depression? You know the word elevation means above or up. But depression, we say, right, when we are depressed or when we are sad, that we are feeling low, we are feeling down. So down, we are looking down, so angle of depression. So the person who is standing in the bottom region, for that person we will have an angle of elevation, And for a person who is standing at the top of a building or the top of a tower, for him we will have angle of depression. I hope it is clear to you. We are going to use these concepts in solving the questions from now on. So let's begin with a very simple question and let's try to solve it out. The angle of elevation of the top of a tower at a distance of 120 meters from its foot on a horizontal plane is found to be 30 degrees. So first of all, let us make the tower. So let me denote this tower as AB. So we don't have the height of the tower given, that is what we have to find. So we have to consider that at a distance of 120 meters from the foot of the tower. So AB is the tower, that means B is the foot of the tower, or B is the point where the tower is attached to the ground. So from that point at a distance of 120 meters, it has been seen that the angle of elevation of the top of a tower is 30 degrees. So you have to read the question and try to make the diagram accordingly, and make sure that your diagram is clear because there are marks for the diagram also in your board examination papers. So this is the diagram. You have the height, you have the tower as AB. You have the point from which the angle of elevation is measured, it is C, and the angle of elevation is given as 30 degrees. You have to find the height of the tower. So now which trigonometrical ratio do we use? We have to find AB. We have to find AB. So which trigonometrical ratio will you use? Will you use sine, will you use cos, or will you use tan? Whenever we have to find the hypotenuse, we will either use cos or sine depending upon our angle where it is placed. But in this case, we see that there is no necessity of finding the hypotenuse. We have to find the height basically. For the angle 30 degree, AB is the height. So as a result, we are going to use tan theta. So first of all, we are going to write let AB be the tower. Write these small statements. I am writing it for the first question, but from the next question, I will expect that you all will be doing it. Let AB be the tower. Now, we can directly write tan 30 degree is equal to height by base, so AB by CB. So the value of tan 30 degree is 1 by root 3, and AB we have to find. The value of CB is 120. So by simple linear equation property, we can write AB is equal to 120 divided by root 3. Now you all might think that how are we going to solve this thing? It is so difficult. The value of root 3 is 1.732. That means we have to do a lot of calculations. But no, it is very easy. If you remember the property of rationalization, you can very easily solve this question. So let's do it. So 120 by root 3. We will never keep square root in the denominator. So we will rationalize it. For that we are going to multiply root 3 in the numerator and root 3 in the denominator. So we are left with 120 root 3 by root 3 into root 3 is 3. So 3 and 120 gets cancelled out and we are left with 40 root 3. So 40 into root 3, that means 1.732. I guess multiplication with decimals is much more easier than division. So the simple multiplication can be done and we are going to get the answer as 69.28 meter. So this is the answer. This is the height of the tower. So I hope this question is clear to you. This was one of the easiest questions, the most simple ones. Next we are going to move into a little more complex ones. Alright then, let's move on to the next question. Two people standing on the same side of a tower in a straight line with it measure the angles of elevation of the height of the tower as 30 degree and 60 degree respectively. If the height of the tower is 70 meter, find the distance between the two people. So now we see that we have two people now, that means two triangles will be considered. So let's see how the diagram will be. So first of all, let's make the tower. So this is my tower AB. And there is a plane surface where two people are standing and they are measuring the angle of elevation of the top of the tower. One has measured it to be 30 degree and the other has measured it to be 60 degree. So on the same side, that's why I'm making both the triangles on the same side of the tower. If it was said that the people are standing on two different sides of the tower, it would have been in this manner. This would be one of the person out here, and out here there would be the other person. Okay. So one of them have measured the angle to be 30 degree and the other one has measured it to be 60 degree. So you have to tell me which one will be 30 degree and which one will be 60 degree. From the diagram it is quite clear, although you cannot directly measure the values, but from the diagram you can understand that one of the angles is smaller than the other. As you can see that this particular angle is smaller than this angle. It is very clear from the figure. So this will be 30 degree and this will be 60 degree. So there is actually a universal rule that whenever we are moving farther away from an object, that is from a cliff or from a tower, the angle of elevation goes on decreasing. So this point is farther away from AB as compared to this point. So the angle of elevation at this particular point is less as compared to this point. So you have to remember this. And by chance, if you're forgetting it, you can very easily just check out the diagram, and whichever angle looks larger, that will be the larger angle. So our diagram is almost done. Let me just name the triangle. So ABCD. Okay. So we have been said that the height of the tower is 70 meter. And our work is to find the distance between the two people. So one of the person was standing at C and the other person was standing at point D. We have to find this particular distance, CD. So let's see how we are going to do it. So I hope the diagram is clear. If it is not, please mention it in the live chat. Alright, so we are going to consider two different triangles and we are going to write accordingly so that it is easy for you to understand and also for the examiner to understand. So beginning with the triangle ACB. So in triangle ACB, again out here we see that hypotenuse is of no importance. We don't have to find its value. So we are again going to use tan. We will very rarely use sine and cos. Most of the times we are going to use tan only. So tan 60 degree is equal to AB by CB, height by base. So the value of tan 60 degree is √3. The value of AB is already given as 70 and CB we don't know yet. So CB is equal to 70 √3, or if we rationalize it again, we can write it as 70 √3 by 3. I hope this rationalization is clear. If it is not, you can check out the previous question. I have done the same thing exactly out there too. So the value of CB is 70 √3 by 3. We will not solve it now because later on when we find out the value of CD, we are going to make the calculation much more easier. So we are going to keep it as it is. Now let's consider the triangle ABD. In triangle ABD. In triangle ABD, what happens? Tan 30 degree is equal to AB by BD. So tan 30 degree is 1 by √3. AB was given as 70 and BD we don't know. So from here BD will be equal to 70 √3. So we have the value of CB and we have the value of BD. Now how can we find the value of CD? We can simply subtract BD minus CB, isn't it? So therefore DC is equal to, or CD is equal to BD minus CB. So our BD is 70 √3 and our CB was 70 √3 by 3. 70 √3 by 3. So from here you can easily take 70 √3 common. So you are left with 1 minus 1 by 3. That is 7 that is 70 √3 into, if you solve this fraction out here, you will get 2 by 3. So you can place √3 as 1.732. So your final answer will come up to 80.826 meter. So this is the answer. This is the distance between the two people, CD. We have found out CD. It is 80.826 meter. In none of the questions which will be given to you in your board examination, you will have values related to not related to the standard angles. You will always have either 30 degree, either 60 degree, either 45 degree, etc. And by chance, if you are given any question like sine sorry, the value of theta is 29 degree or 25 degree, its value will also be provided with the question. So you don't have to worry about that. So I hope this question is clear. It was a very simple one. Don't think that we have to calculate as it is. First of all, we can just solve it, make it simple, and then we can calculate. Because we know that multiplication with decimal is much more easy comparatively. So always try to simplify the expression, try to make it small, and then solve it. That will not just reduce your time, but will also help you to do the things correctly without mistakes, and it will increase your accuracy also, because during the examination you will not have time to look into the same question repeatedly over and over again. So make sure you are using these small tricks. All right, then let's move into the next question. This is a simple one. A kite is attached to a string. Find the length of the string when the height of the kite is 60 meter. The unit has not been mentioned out here, it will be 60 meter. And the string makes an angle of 30 degree with the ground. So first of all, let us make the horizontal ground surface. Okay, so there is a kite out here. This is my kite K, and it is at a height of 60 meter above the ground. Okay, height means height means vertical height. Don't think that it will be an inclined height, it will be the vertical height. So the kite is at a height of 60 meter from the ground, and the string, this is the string. For example, if this is me, I am at this point A, I am flying this kite, so I will be holding the string at a particular angle, obviously. So this is the string, AK is the string, and it is of an angle, it is at an angle of 30 degree with the ground. Yes, so we are getting a right angle triangle again. Now we can easily use the trigonometrical ratios and solve it. So in this case, we have to find the length of the string, we have to find the value of AK. So which trigonometrical ratio can we use? Out here height is given, but we don't have the base, we have to find the hypotenuse. So we know that sine theta gives the relation between height and hypotenuse. So we are going to use sine theta in this case. So you have to just see the question and see what value we have to find, whether we have to find the height or the base or the hypotenuse, and then we have to proceed accordingly. So over here, since we have a single triangle, I am not mentioning for which triangle. We will directly write, let K be the kite, okay. So we have sine 30 degree is equal to height by hypotenuse, that means KB by AK. So the value of sine 30 degree is half, and the value of KB is given as 60. So AK, you have to find AK. So AK will be 120 meter. Very simple, very basic question. So I hope this question is clear. One more important thing, in your board examination you will only have questions related to two triangles, not more than that. Like we just did the previous question, we had two triangles. So these type of questions will be asked, not more than two triangles. Okay, let's see this question now. At a particular time when the sun's altitude is 30 degree, that means the angle of elevation of the sun is 30 degree from a point on the ground, the length of the shadow of a vertical tower is 45 meter. Okay, calculate the length of the tower or the height of the tower, and you have to also find the length of the shadow when the angle of elevation is changing, it is different. Okay, let's see how to do this. Number one, first of all, let's make the diagram. So first of all, we have a tower whose height is 45 meters. All right, and its shadow is falling. The sun is out here. We are going to consider the sun to be at the top of the tower, although it is not practically possible, but since the shadow is falling, we will consider that the the top of the tower is particularly in line with the sun. So where the shadow will form? The shadow will form in this manner. This is the shadow. Any trick to remember formula? Which formula? Sine, cos, these things. Whether it is height by hypotenuse or base by hypotenuse. Actually, there is a mnemonic which many of my friends who used to take tuitions told me about. but I never particularly followed those formulas. When my father used to teach me when I was younger, he told me that go through them, speak it again and again, practice questions, and you will eventually memorize. You don't have to put any extra efforts, to memorize those formulas. You will eventually learn it by heart. The more you practice, the more it goes into your head. So I wouldn't suggest you any such formula, but you can definitely see other places and see if any mnemonic is of help to you. All right, so where I was, yeah. So AB is the tower which is of a height 45 meter, and BC is the shadow of the tower. All right. Now from this point C, a person has observed the angle of elevation of the sun to be 30 degree. This is what the question means. The sun's altitude is taken to be 30 degree such that the shadow of the vertical tower is falling on that particular point at point C. Okay, I made a small mistake out here. The shadow is 45 meter, not the tower. Okay. So this is the diagram. The shadow is 45 meter in length. We have to find the height of the tower first of all. So I hope it is clear. The diagram is clear to you. Now let's begin with the question. So we have a single triangle here, so I'm not mentioning it particularly. Just I will write that let AB be the tower. So over here we don't have anything to do with the hypotenuse, use tan theta. So tan 30 degree is equal to height by base. In this case our height is AB, which we have to find, and our base is 45. The value of tan 30 degree is 1 by root 3. So AB by 45. AB is equal to 45 by root 3. So again in the denominator I have a square root. I am not going to solve it and waste my time. I am simply going to rationalize it. So I am left with 45 root 3 by 3. So I can cancel it out. I am getting 15. So 15 root 3 meter. I can either keep it like this, or it's better that I solve it. I'll put the value of root 3 as 1.732 and my answer will be 25.98 meter. 25.98 meter is the height of the tower. This is our first question. I hope it is clear. Let's move on to the second question. We have to find the length of the shadow now. Initially the length of the shadow was 45 meter when the angle of elevation was 30 degree. Now what will be the length of the shadow if the sun's altitude is in one case 45 degree and in the second case 60 degree. So let's see. So number 2A, we have 45 degree. So let me make the diagram. I'm making it a little smaller. I hope you understand. So AB is the tower and C is the point from where the angle of elevation is observed, and C is also the point where the shadow is ending. So we have to now find the value of CB. The height of the tower is remaining fixed, obviously 25.98 meter, or we can also write it as 15 root 3 meter to ease our calculation. 15 root 3. And we have the first angle of elevation as 45 degree. Okay, so from here it's quite clear that we have to use tan theta again because hypotenuse is not included. So 15 root 3 height divided by the base CB. We have to find CB. We have to find the height of, we have to find the length of the shadow. So tan 45 is 1 and 15 root 3 by CB. So this value of CB comes up to 15 root 3 meter, or like we just did 25.98 meter. So this is the height, this is the length of the shadow when the angle of elevation of the sun is 45 degree. Now our second question was the height of the length of the shadow if the angle of elevation is 60 degree. Okay, so 60 degree in this case. Again, let me make the diagram. You don't have to repeat the diagram again and again. I'm just doing it so that you guys can understand it. So the height of the tower was 15 root 3 and the angle was 60 degree. So now again I have to find the value of CB. So tan 60 degree is equal to AB by CB. Okay, so tan 60 degree has a value of root 3, AB is 15 root 3, and CB is the unknown quantity. We can directly cancel out root 3 and root 3, so the value of CB comes up to 15 meter. So this is the answer. So as the angle of elevation of the sun is changing, the shadow's length is also changing. You must have seen it, right? During the morning, the shadow of anything is quite long, but as the day progresses, the shadow becomes shorter and shorter, and then during the noon time it is the shortest, and again when we are proceeding towards the evening, the length of the shadow goes on increasing. So the same thing has been explained in this question also. So I hope this question is also clear to you. Okay, let's move on to another question. The shadow of a vertical tower on level ground increases by 10 meter when the altitude of the sun changes from an angle of elevation 45 degree to 30 degree. Similar question, but out here we will have two triangles. In the previous question we had to find the length in both the cases, but here it has been said how much the length of the shadow has increased. So let's see how to do it. Find the height of the tower correct to one place of decimal. Alright, come on, let's do it. So first of all, let me make the tower. So this is my tower. Let me mention it as AB. And its shadow is this. Okay. So there are two angles of elevation. Like I told you, the farther one will have a smaller value. So this will be 30 degree and this will be 45 degree. So when the angle of elevation was 45 degree, the length of the shadow was this much. And now when the angle of elevation is 30 degree, the length of the shadow is this much. From the previous question, I guess now you have this idea how to find out which part is the length of the shadow. So let me mention the points. So A, B, C, D. Alright. So let's read the question once again and let's see where we are going to put this 10 meter. The shadow of a vertical tower on level ground increases by 10 meter when the altitude changes from 45 degree to 30 degree. So initially when it was 45 degree, it was having a length of CB. Now the length is DB. That means it has increased by 10 meters. So DC is 10 meter. DC is 10 meter. Okay, I hope it is clear. If the diagram is not clear or if you have any doubts, please mention it in the live chat. I'll be happy to clear your doubts. Okay. So DC is 10 meter. We have been said that we have to find the height of the tower correct to 1 decimal place. That means after the decimal we have to correct to 1 place of decimal. Yes, after the decimal we have to keep 1 digit. Okay, let's do it. First of all, let us take the height of the tower to be x. I'm just considering it x. You can take it as y, z, whatever you want. So let's consider the first triangle, triangle ABC. So in triangle ABC, what do we see? Tan 45 degree is equal to AB by CB, height by base. Yes, tan 45 degree is 1, so 1 is equal to x by CB. You have to write these things, alright? I have not written it. That doesn't mean you will skip it. You have to write let the tower be AB and let its height be x. Please do write these things, otherwise you will lose marks. So CB is equal to x. So the value of CB is x. Okay, we have got one expression. Now let's see for the second triangle. For triangle ABD. In triangle ABD, tan 30 degree. Tan 30 degree is equal to AB by BD. So the value of tan 30 degree is 1 by root 3. So 1 by root 3 is equal to x divided by BD. Okay. So the value of BD is x root 3. The value of BD is x root 3. Let me mention it in the figure. entire thing which I have written with red, that is x root 3. But we know that the value of CD is 10. So can we write that BD minus BC is equal to 10 meter? Isn't it? We can do it that way. So from the figure, we have that BD minus CB is equal to DC. So x root 3 minus x is equal to 10. Okay, I hope it is clear till here. So if you take x common from here, you will have root 3 minus 1 is equal to 10. So x will be equal to 10 divided by root 3 minus 1. So again you might have this fear gripping you. How are we going to solve it? Again we will rationalize. We are not going to keep any stones unturned and make our question difficult. We are going to make it as easy as possible. So root 3 plus 1 divided by root 3 plus 1. I hope you remember rationalization well. If not, please go through your class 9 book and understand the topic once again. So 10 into root 3 plus 1 divided by a minus b into a plus b, that is a square minus b square. We have used it extensively in the previous lectures. So 3 minus 1, that is 10 into root 3 plus 1 divided by 3 minus 1 is 2. So we are getting 5 out here. So 5 into root 3 plus 1, that is 1.732 plus 1. It is 2.732, which is equal to, if you multiply, you will get 13.66 meter. Since we have been said that one place of decimal, so we are going to round it off 13.7 meter. So I hope it is clear. So this is how you have to solve your questions. It's very, very easy. You just have to understand the question, make a proper diagram, and then the question is all yours. So let's take a small break of 2 minutes, drink some water, get refreshed, and let's finish the 2 questions which we have. Yeah, we have 2 more questions. All right. So friends, welcome back once again. So let us do the last two questions for today's session and let's finish it off. From a point on the ground, the angle of elevation of the top of a vertical tower is found to be such that its tangent is 3 by 5. So out here we don't have the value of theta. We have been given the value of tangent theta. That means tan theta's value has been given to us. So at one point the value of tan theta is 3 by 5, and on walking 50 meter towards the tower, now if you are moving 50 meter towards the tower from the previous point, the tangent will change to be 4 by 5. Okay, now you have to find the height of the tower. Alright, so let's make the diagram first. So this is my tower AB. So this is the ground, and initially we were at this point. Let us imagine point C, and from there the angle of the angle of elevation, that value of tan theta is 3 by 5. So I am taking this angle as theta 1, and on moving 50 meter towards the tower, now from C we are moving 50 meter towards the tower. Let us consider another point D. So from C you have moved to D by covering a distance of 50 meter. You are moving towards the tower, and now at that point the angle of elevation becomes theta 2, and the value of tan theta 2 is 4 by 5. I hope the diagram is clear to you. So your question is you have to find the height of the tower. So again a very easy question, just like we did it previously, the same type of question. So let's do it. So let us consider the height of the tower to be x. So let the height of the tower be x. So this is x. So let us consider each triangle like we were doing. So in triangle ABD, we have tan theta 2 is equal to AB by DB. So the value of tan theta 2 is already given to us. It is 4 by 5 is equal to AB is x. Let us keep DB as it is. So what will be the expression for DB? DB is equal to 5 by 4x. Okay, we are not getting any particular value. We are just getting an expression. I hope it is clear. Next, let's consider for the triangle ABC. So in triangle ABC, tan theta 1 is equal to AB by BC, height by base. So tan theta 1, the value of tan theta 1 was 3 by 5, and the value of AB was x, and the value of BC we don't know, so we are going to keep it like that only. So from here we can find BC is equal to 5 by 3x. So why are we finding DB and BC? Because we know that the value of CD is 50, so we will find a relation between these values and then we can equate it with 50. Because we know that BC minus DB will be equal to CD. This is the reason why we are finding the expressions for DB and for BC. So let's do it. So according to the figure, I am not writing it again. Please do write it in your copy. According to the figure, we have BC minus BD is equal to CD. So the value of BC is 5 by 3x. The value of BD is 5 by 4x, and the value of CD is 50 meter. So we are going to solve this for x and find out the height of the tower. So let's do it. So if you take 5x as common from here, you will have 1 by 3 minus 1 by 4 is equal to 50. And you can cancel 5 and 50, it will be 10. So x into, if you solve this fraction, the LCM will be 12. 4 minus 3 will be there in the numerator, is equal to 10. So you will have x by 12 is equal to 10. So x will be equal to 120. So x was the height of the tower. Therefore the height of the tower is 120 meter. So this is the answer. Just like the previous question. Hope it is clear to you. If you have any sort of doubt regarding the questions which we have done or are doing, you can please comment your doubts in the live chat. Alright then, let's move on to our last question for today. So we have a person standing on the bank of a river observes that the angle of elevation of the top of a tree standing on the opposite bank is 60 degrees. So in these type of questions people get confused. Like, how are we going to consider the bank of a river? How are we going to consider the tree? Whenever we are said that a person is standing on the bank of a river, it means that if this is the distance between one bank and the other bank, these are the two banks, this one and this part is the water part. The person is standing right on the bank. This blue colored line is the person. And the tree which he is seeing, this is the tree. The tree is also exactly on the bank. It is not at any particular distance from the bank. So don't get confused. So the person is also on the bank, that means exactly on the bank, and the tree is also exactly on the other bank. Okay. So let's make the diagram accordingly. So over here, this is the bank of the river. This is the person A. A is the point where the person is standing. Since the person's height is not given, I am not going to consider a person as such. We will not do it. I told you in the beginning of the session also, I am repeating it once again. So AB is the river actually, and A is the point where the person is standing, and B is the point where the tree is there. So let's make the tree. So our tree is CB. Okay. So a person who is standing on the bank of a river observes that the angle of elevation of the top of a tree standing on the opposite bank is 60 degrees. So from point A, he has observed the angle of elevation of this tree, of the top of the tree, to be 60 degrees. So AB is the distance from one bank to the other. That means AB is the width of the river, CB is my tree, and A is the point from where the angle of elevation has been measured. Now what happens when he was 40 meter away from the bank? Now from point A, if he was 40 meter away, that means he was 40 meter towards the back side. So this is 40. Okay, so let us consider this point to be D. So at this point, he observed that the angle of elevation was 30 degrees. This was 30 degrees. If he moved 40 meter away from the bank behind him, he would observe that the angle of elevation is 30 degrees. So now your question is, you have to find the height of the tree and the width of the river. Height of the tree means you have to find CB, and width of the river, that means you have to find AB. So let's do it. We have done this type of questions just now, so it will be easy. So the first and the foremost thing in these type of questions is that you have to make the correct diagram. Only then you can solve it. If your diagram is not correct, how hard you try, you're not going to get the correct answer. So make sure you're practicing lots and lots of such questions so that you know directly how to make the diagram. You don't have to think much. Alright. So again, we have two triangles here. We are going to consider the first triangle. So let me take the height of the tree to be x. So in triangle ABC, tan 60 degree is equal to CB by AB. So tan 60 degree is root 3. The value of CB is x and we don't know AB. So AB will be equal to x by root 3. Or if we rationalize it, we will get x root 3 by 3. Alright. Now for the next triangle, for triangle DBC, we have tan 30 degree is equal to CB by DB. Okay, so the value of tan 30 degree is 1 by root 3. CB is x and DB is not given to us. So DB will be equal to root 3x. Okay, so AB is x root 3 by 3 and DB is root 3x. So now, just like the previous question, we are going to bring the relation of DB, AB and DA. Okay, so we can write that DB is equal to, DB minus AB is equal to, DB minus AB is equal to dA. Okay, so our dB is root 3x minus AB is root 3x by 3, and the value of D is given as 40 meter. Okay, so from here we can take root 3x as common, so we are left with 1 minus 1 by 3 is equal to 40. So root 3x into 1 minus 1 by 3 is 2 by 3 equals to 40. So we can make the cancellations. 20. So x will be equal to 20 into 3 by root 3. Yes. Again we can rationalize it and make it easier. So 3. So we are getting 60 root 3 by 3. So 3 and 60 can get cancelled out. We are getting 20. So 20 root 3. That means we will have 20 into 1.732, and we are getting it as 34.64 meter. Alright, so this is our height of the tree. We have found out the height of the tree, but now we also have to find the width of the river. We have to find AB, isn't it? We have just found x. So how do we find AB? We know that AB is equal to x root 3 by 3. So from here, if we put the value of x, we can easily find out AB. So I'm keeping this part of the question as your homework. Everything has been done already. You just have to put the value of x and find the answer. So I hope you will do it. You don't have to send me the answers. Do it for yourself so that you learn a little out of it. So tomorrow or day after tomorrow, whenever we do the next live, we are going to do some more complicated questions from this chapter itself. Today we have just done questions related to angle of elevation. We will also do questions related to angle of depression and questions in which both angle of elevation and angle of depression is involved. So I hope today's session was fruitful to you and you have understood whatever I have taught in the class. If you have any doubts from the session or from elsewhere, you can definitely send your doubts in the email which has been provided in the description. Till the next time, keep studying, keep rocking. Bye bye everyone.